of thousands of seats sitting empty. It was built on a pricing system that did not lock out the casual fan by accident. It locked out the lifers. These are the people who save for years, who cross oceans, who built this game over a century, and it did it on purpose. Don't believe me? Take Daniel Foster, 3 World Cups, Brazil, Russia, Qatar, start to finish. He lives an hour from a host stadium in Southern California, which should make him the single easiest fan on earth for FIFA to keep happy. He did the math on attending a World Cup in his own backyard and found prices 3 to 4 times higher than anything he'd ever paid, 8 times higher for the final. Daniel Foster, 3-time World Cup traveler, still doesn't know if he can afford to walk through the gate of a tournament playing out in his own country. When the most loyal fan in the host nation is getting squeezed out, something is deeply, deliberately broken. So let's start with the numbers, because the numbers are the whole story. For the first time ever, FIFA used dynamic pricing, the same algorithm that decides what you pay for a flight or a concert ticket, adjusting in real time to whatever the market will bear. Group stage tickets opened at $140. A regular seat at the final outside New York was listed as high as $8,680. Then FIFA pushed the top final price to $10,990, then to $32,970, and if you wanted hospitality, $73,200 for one match. For comparison, 4 years ago in Qatar, the entire range, top to bottom, ran from $69 to $1,607. That's the line that should stop you. The cheapest seats roughly doubled. The best seats went up by a factor of 20. This wasn't inflation. This was design. So on the eve of the opening match, Gianni Infantino finally stood in front of the cameras to answer for all of it. This was his moment, his chance to defend his fans, or at the very least, to explain himself. Here's what he said instead. He said the prices were fine. He said that if FIFA was doing something wrong, then everyone selling tickets in North America was doing something wrong too. He said the average ticket was under $500, comparable, he insisted, to American playoff games. He pointed at the NBA Finals where get-in prices in New York had touched $10,000. He pointed at the Stanley Cup. And he basically said, see, everybody's doing it. And to the fans drowning in this, he said, just, chill, relax. Now let's take his argument seriously for a second, because that is the honest thing to do. He's not entirely wrong that other American sports use this model. NBA Finals seats genuinely did spike toward $10,000 in New York. Resale markets are brutal across the board. But look closely, because there is a sleight of hand here. That under $500 average is a resale market figure. It is not what FIFA charged at the box office. The actual face value list prices tell a completely different story. Major League Baseball World Series tickets average somewhere around $350 to $400. National Football League Conference Championships run about $450. FIFA's own get-in price for the final on its own resale platform was $9,805. That is not comparable to a playoff game. That is roughly 20 times a National Football League conference final. And the everyone does it defense quietly gives away the whole game. Infantino's real argument was that if FIFA priced tickets lower, scalpers would simply scoop them up and resell them at a markup. So the money may as well go to football. But think that through. If FIFA had to price tickets this astronomically just to beat the scalpers to it, then FIFA did not solve scalping. It became the scalper. It built the markup directly into the box office and kept the difference for itself. Then there's the $60 ticket, the one FIFA loves to wave around as proof it has not forgotten the ordinary fan. After the backlash got loud, FIFA offered cheap tickets to national federations for their core traveling supporters. Infantino put the number at 130,000. 130,000 sounds generous. Spread across a 104-match tournament with millions of seats, it is a rounding error. It is the fig leaf, not the policy. What about those investigations? 4 states are now formally looking into FIFA's ticketing: California, New Jersey, New York, and Texas. Infantino said he is relaxed, that the best lawyers signed everything off, and that FIFA welcomes every investigation and is happy to make its case. And maybe he can afford to be relaxed. Dynamic pricing is not illegal. But saying we checked with our lawyers is a strange thing to brag about, when the complaint was never that you broke the law. The complaint is that you treated your most loyal supporters like an inventory problem to be optimized. And here is where the ticket story stops being just about money. Because in the very same week Infantino was telling fans to chill, his own tournament was buckling under everything else. A Somali referee, Africa's #1, was refused entry into the United States and sent home, the defining moment of his career torn away from him. Infantino called it unfortunate. Iran's national team was forced to relocate its base to Mexico, and its fans had their tickets canceled outright. An Iraqi striker was held for hours at a Chicago airport before being let in. Outside the Azteca itself, families of Mexico's 133,000 missing people marched on the stadium. One leaflet read simply, "The cup came back home. When will our loved ones? Chill. Relax." That phrase captures this entire World Cup in miniature. Not a fee, not a number, an attitude. The unmistakable sense that the people who fill these stadiums, who travel for them, who built the culture of this sport over more than a century, are not the customer anymore. They are the backdrop. Because that is what the $10,000 ticket actually does. It does not just empty a few seats. It changes who is sitting in them. $1,000 for the cheapest seat at a group stage game does not attract the fan who saved for 2 years to be there. It attracts the person for whom the World Cup is an occasion, rather than a passion, a hospitality box, not a vantage point. And the atmosphere those two crowds create is not remotely the same. One of them is the reason 1 billion people tune in. The other is the reason they might stop. The Azteca will still be full tonight. 83,000 people, and no algorithm on earth can take that away. But fill in the gaps across 11 American host cities, the unsold $1,300 seats, the empty corners, the families out in the street,